So we just got the info about Genshin Impact version 2.0 introducing the Japanese-inspired region of Inazuma. And of course, I am most excited about the slew of new characters that we are getting. I've done some research and was able to find a few subtle design details for each of the 6 previously unannounced characters. Since this is my own speculation and because I have so little reference to look off of, definitely take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Let's start off with the Electro Archon, Inazuma's Raiden Shogun, Baal. All we got to see of her is this short but stunning cutscene, though it's enough to see some of the details on her clothing. She is wearing a robe similar to that of a Japanese kimono, and it's fastened by a sash called an obi. It is held in place by an obijime that is tied around it, and an additional optional piece called an obiyage is placed above both of them. Apparently, it is Japanese custom to leave less of the obiyage tucked under the obi based on how young you are. Considering how hers protrudes quite a bit, I think it's safe to say this reflects her status as the god of eternity who doesn't want to lose her youth. The prominent brooch-like accessory on the obijime has the symbol of the Mitsudomoe on it. While similar to the game's electro symbol, it is actually from the Shinto religion. One interpretation states that it represents 3 of the 4 Mitama. Ara Mitama with the power of ruling, Nigi Mitama with the power of unifying, and the Saki Mitama with the power of blessing. It lacks the 4th Kushi Mitama with the power of transforming. Maybe this is suggesting that the Raiden Shogun is a strong leader, but isn't capable of actually inciting change through her actions. Kujou Sara is the Raiden Shogun's right hand, and as of now is my favorite of the new characters. Her design is clearly heavily inspired by the Tengu, a supernatural creature from Japanese mythology. Its most distinctive features are its red face and long nose, which can both be seen on the mask that Sara wears on her head. According to Buddhism, they were disruptive demons and heralds of war, which is fitting for a character who is a military general. The parallels don't stop there though, as visual elements from Sara's outfit are also taken from clothes that Tengu are depicted as wearing. She has on a pair of Tengu geta, one-tooth clogs, and a Yui gesa, which have these large pom-poms on them. They were historically worn by mountain-dwelling Yamabushi monks to represent these 6 virtues: wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence. However, Sara only has 2, potentially suggesting that she lacks some of these qualities. Next, we have Yae Miko, who clearly takes inspiration from Japanese Miko, or shrine maidens. Although in the modern day they are just normal girls who tend shrine reception counters and perform the Kagura dance, traditionally they were also considered supplementary priestesses, and could be responsible for supernatural things like spirit possession and reciting oracles. Because of their religious ties, they were also considered figures of high social standing. Visually, we can easily see that Yae Miko has the recognizable shrine maiden colors of red and white. In Japanese culture, white can symbolize divinity, and red was a color that was said to scare away evil spirits. A much more subtle detail comes in the form of these white ties on her clothes. They resemble omikuji, fortunes that are given out at shrines. You pick one at random and can receive either a kind of blessing or curse. If you get a blessing, you have the option of tying it on a wire or tree to give the fortune a greater effect, or you can hold onto it as a good luck charm. In the former, the 2 white ends stick out on both sides. Now we get to the characters that have inspirations which are a bit harder to pin down, starting with Thoma. The head of Genshin's creative concept and writing team made some interesting comments, saying that his blonde hair separates him from other Inazuma characters, and that his identity is a bit of a mystery. One visual detail that stands out about him is his dog tags, which interestingly resemble American ones and not Japanese ones. Additionally, unlike how other characters have their names in kanji, Thoma's are written in katakana, which are most often used to transcribe foreign words into Japanese. All these bits of information lead me to theorize that Thoma is not a native of Inazuma, which could have very interesting story implications. Gorou has a visual design that seems relatively tame compared to the other characters. One thing I noticed though is that the markings around his eyes could be a reference to kumadori, face paint worn by actors in kabuki theater. Its purpose was to emphasize the emotions of the actor, with red commonly representing passion or anger. This actually fits pretty well with Gorou, who was said to become more fierce throughout battle. Another detail which is quite subtle is in his gloves, which feature pretty widely different designs. Because we have seen Gorou holding a bow in the trailer, his fully fingered right glove could be reminiscent of a yugake, a glove traditionally worn in Japanese archery to protect the hand. Last but not least, we have Sangonomiya Kokomi. Her surname means coral shrine, and the kanji in her given name mean heart and sea. Definitely very relevant for a person who has a hydro vision. Keeping with the theme of the ocean, she has a scalloped shell design on her back. One significance of it is its ties to Venus, the Roman goddess of love, beauty, prosperity, and victory. These things seem like they can relate to her role as the leader of the Sangonomiya resistance. Lastly, her clothes have patterns similar to that of the fins of a fish. In the same way that fins allow fish to have control over their movements, Kokomi is in control of the resistance, cited to be the brains of the forces. I definitely need more information about these characters to be certain about some of the things which I've discussed, but I'm glad that I was able to gather this much from how little I had to work with. Genshin's character designs are continuing to prove to be top notch, and I look forward to everything that's in store for us down the line. When these characters do become playable, I will have much more in-depth analyses on them, but that's it for this video. I hope this was entertaining and educational for you, and as always, thank you for watching.